Gianni, can you hear me? If you can, go ahead and say hello in the chat, just so I know that you can hear me. We're getting ready to take our spelling test, and I want to make sure you can hear me for this. Make sure you have your spelling test out as well. Landon and Tristan, you're getting it 100%. If you're not quite there, then you should be studying. Okay, Tristan, Tony, Cameron, and Emmeline, go ahead and clear off your desk. The rest of you may study quietly while I administer this first group of tests. Make sure your spelling list is put away. Emmeline, you need to turn your notebook the other way, please. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, good, Johnny. Johnny, I'm going to give the first group spelling test first. And then in a few moments, I will give your spelling test. So just take this time to go back over and study. Gianni, you will have to know the definitions for the words biography, diagnose, verdict, and suburb. So be studying over those while I'm giving the other groups test out, please. All right. First group, number 1. Spell the word concern. Concern. The teacher showed great concern for the student with a broken arm. Concern. Yes, Cameron. Okay, do you have? You only have one? I will loan you one. Make sure to tell Mom you need more pencils, okay? You should always have a couple for the day. Come get it, please. And you're writing the word concern for number 1. Concern. Number 2, champion, champion. My dad was a basketball champion, champion. Champion. Number 3, choir, choir. 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 I sang in the choir. Remember, choir is not spelled the way it sounds. That first sound is different. It's an exception. Choir. Number 4, concentration. Concentration. Don't lose your concentration while doing your schoolwork. Concentration. Concentration. Number 5, complain. Complain. It is hard to complain when God has been so good to us. Complain. Number 6. Cleanse. Cleanse. We need to cleanse our hands before we eat. Cleanse. Cleanse. Number 7. Sealing. 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 Gavin, are you ready for your spelling test? You know the definitions for those 4 that I gave? Sealing. Number 8. Combination. Combination. Number 9. Community. 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 Number 10. Comfortable. Comfortable. Okay, any of you need any of those words repeated? Tony? Number 4? Number 4 was concentration. Concentration. Number 9 was community. Community. We live in the community of Banning or Beaumont, wherever you live. Community. Okay, does anyone else need any of those repeated? You good, Tristan? Cameron, you good? Emmeline, you good? Emmeline, do you need anything repeated? Okay. All right, guys, make sure you work on the bottom part of that. Okay, when you are all finished, you may come turn in next to where our homework's going to be turned in, right here. And then you guys can start working on your creative writing, page 36 to 38, okay? Second group, go ahead and clear your books. So clear your desk. Get ready for your test. Yes. That is a bonus. So what word means to say the opposite? It was on the main list. So if you don't know, it's okay. It doesn't count against you. Cameron, you're going to need this because you're going to do more work. So you need to hold on to that. Okay. Gianni, get ready. Make sure you have your pencil out. Your test 3. We're going to take this together. Yes, Tony. Number 8. 1 second, okay? Viviana, can you do me a favor? Actually, Ariel asked me. Why don't you girls team up? You pass them out. Ariel, you pass them out for me. Start on that side. If you're done, you can turn it in right up there. Needs to go in a separate stack though. Number 8 was combination. Combination. Thank you, ma'am. Have extras? We have tons of extras in this class. Thank you, guys. Okay. Look at the top part there. Make sure your name is on it. Make sure the date is on there. It is October 2nd, the great month of October. In 10 days, I will be 29 again for like the 7th year running. In 10 days, I'll be 29 again. Yes. Not right now. You need to be working on those pages on the board. Creative writing book, 36 through 38. Number 1. Yes. For like 7 years running. Number 1, it's your writing book. Sentence dictation. Write the sentence as dictated. Write the sentence as dictated. Number 1. We had a substitute. So you're just writing the book. You're writing the sentence, I mean. This book. Okay, I understand. But under grammar, it says creative writing, page 36 through 38. So just look at the board, listen to instructions, and open your book. It's different than what we've been doing in writing. Number 1, we had a substitute teacher in biology class. We had a substitute teacher in biology class. Yes, sir. You're writing the entire sentence that I'm giving you. By the way, and I didn't count off for it, but a lot of you, like 98% of you on your language test where you had to rewrite sentences, you forgot to put an end mark at the end of your sentence. So we can't have a sentence without an end mark, right? A period, exclamation point, question mark. So make sure you're writing your sentences correctly, guys. We had a substitute teacher in biology class. We had a substitute teacher in biology class. When you have it written, go ahead and look up at me so I know we're ready for dictation. Make sure, boys, that you're writing very neatly and clearly, because if I can't read it, I have to mark it wrong. If I can't see how it's spelled because you wrote too small or too close together or it's just too messy, I'm going to have to mark it wrong. So make sure you're writing very neatly on all of your assignments. We had a substitute teacher in biology class. Okay, let's go down to the dictation. Number 2. Write the word subway. Subway. Yes. Read it. 36 through 38. Read the pages. And on 38, there's instructions. And we're going to go over it, but you need to just learn to read. Cameron, okay? What did I just say? Cameron, look at me. If you turn to this page and you see this, and this is assigned to you, then you need to read it. And then you come to this page and you need to read that. There's nothing here for you to work on, right? You just need to read it. And down here, now you're going to read this. Here's instructions. So you read the instructions. It tells you what to do, okay? But you have to read. You have to be able to do some independent work on your own, bud. Okay, number 2 was subway. Subway. Number 3, edict. Edict. Yes, sir. You have to observe that. I can't tell you. Edict. Nice try, though. Edict. Number 4, subsoil, 36 to 38. Subsoil. Subsoil. Subsoil is the soil underneath the topsoil. Subsoil. Yes, sir. Because remember, sub means under, so subsoil means it's the soil under the topsoil. But yes, you're learning your root. It's very good. Number 5, dictate. I am dictating these words to you. Dictate. Dictate. Number 6, diadem. Diadem is another word for crown. Diadem. Diadem. Number 7, musician. Musician. Then put I don't know. That's part of the process that we're going to be learning today. Number 7 is musician. Number 8, dictionary. 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 You use a dictionary to look up the definition of words. Dictionary. Yes, Tony? You need to observe that. Did you read the instructions? Did you read the purpose of what you're doing? Observation. I can't tell you because that defeats the purpose of that. Number 9, diagramming. Those of you that are working at your own desk while I'm giving the test, because you keep raising hands, asking questions, just read it. If you don't understand it, then just read it again. We're going to all do it together in a moment, but you keep distracting from me giving the test. So no more questions right now. Cameron, put your hand down. Only those who have a question of a spelling test right now. I want them to be able to focus. Number 10, subpoena. Subpoena. A subpoena is an official court order. Subpoena. Subpoena. Subnormal. Subnormal means below the norm, so below average. Subnormal. Number 12, diameter. Diameter. I showed you on the board the other day what the diameter of a circle looks like. Diameter. Number 13, benediction. Benediction. Benediction is the short blessing at the end of a religious service. Benediction. Number 14, diaphragm. Diaphragm. You use the diaphragm muscle to help when you sing. Also when you breathe, the diaphragm. If you take voice lessons, your voice teacher will tell you to sing from your diaphragm. Number 15, subconscious. Subconscious, meaning a little bit under consciousness. You're not 100% conscious. Subconscious. Subconscious. Many of you seem subconscious during language class. Subconscious, not all the way awake or conscious. Number 16, magician. 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 I was able to see a magician do some tricks on vacation. Magician. Number 17, submarine. Submarine. A submarine is a boat that goes under the water. Sub means under, Marine means water. Submarine, under the water. Number 18, diagonal. Diagonal. The teacher asked the little girl to draw a diagonal line. Diagonal. Number 19, subservient. Subservient. Someone who serves under somebody. Subservient. Subservient. Number 20, subordinate. 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 And number 21, sub-oceanic. Sub-oceanic. Under the ocean. Sub-oceanic. If you have struggle with your spelling, break it down, right? Sub-oceanic. You have your root, you have your main word in there, under the ocean, and then you have the two little letters at the end that make it sub-oceanic. So if you struggle, just break those down into its pieces, okay? All right, the rest of the test, you're on your own. Vocabulary there, you're matching. I want you to turn your pages over to the back side real quickly, though. The vocabulary C, they give you a sentence with the definition of one of these words. This is your word bank for numbers 31 through 33. So you'll have to figure out which one of these goes in the correct blank, okay? You may begin when you're finished. You may bring it up. Actually, when you're finished, just flip it over and raise your hand. I'll come collect yours because there's a lot more of you. Does anyone need anything repeated? Okay. Number 13. Benediction. Gavin. Take it off your head, please. All the way. Thank you. Yes, Cameron. I'm not telling you. I'm not going to tell you. The purpose of that is observation, meaning what have you observed? How good are you at observing? Yes. If what? If I could write on your paper. Oh, so you would know what hand I am. Nice try. Yes, sir. All finished? Okay. Is this a complete sentence? Physician is some that helps you. They want you to write a complete sentence. Okay? So you need to not include that. You need to, if you're going to say that, you probably would say a physician, right? And then do you have an end mark? So is that a good sentence? Okay, write a good sentence. Yes, sir. Okay, do you have an end mark down there? I can't really see it. Make it more obvious for me. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. A physician. I knew if I just stared at you long enough, it would come. The transfer of knowledge from brain to brain. Yes. Nope. You not, you not. Yes, sir. What did you say? I don't know. I haven't observed that yet. Don't know that one? Really? A physician? Nope. Okay. Did you think of it? Did it come to your mind? Not yet. Gianni, they're still finishing up their spelling test. And then in a moment, we're going to jump into our creative writing. If you're finished with your test, you can go ahead and open up your creative writing book to page 36. Make sure you're not talking sixth grade. If you are, I will have to take your test and put a 0 on it. There are others who are not done with their test yet. Open your creative writing books to page 36. You can begin reading. The words are on the board. Can you use your process of elimination? No. Try to guess before you cheat. I don't know. What color are they? Did you read both of these first? Gavin, did you? Okay. All right, sixth grade. Go ahead and open up your creative writing books. Going to page 36. Some of you have already started reading what you were supposed to have started reading it. We are going to take a break from our grammar next week. We're going to do some review over the things that we've already learned in grammar. Some of the things that were on our test that maybe we didn't have down. We're going to review those. And while we're reviewing and taking a break from grammar and reviewing and getting a better foundation on the things that were on our test yesterday, we're also going to start our creative writing. Now, our creative writing, in the back of this book, we want to learn, we want to improve our writing, okay? We're in sixth grade, so we're beyond the cat went out the door, the dog chased the cat. Okay, we should be at that point where now we're making and we're able to create something in writing that is interesting. Once again, I was a little surprised at how many of you didn't do the basics yesterday on your language test, like capitalizing your first letter of the sentence, putting an end mark at the end. Those are the basics of writing, okay? How to structure a sentence correctly, capital letter and an end mark. So now we're branching into now how do we take what we've already learned from young grade levels. Now how do we expound upon that? How do we write better? How do we make our language more interesting? Okay, so we're going to start talking about creative writing. If I am going to write a story or a book, I want it to be something that somebody would be actually interested to read. Okay? And how do I do that? So let's look at page 36. Now some of you skipped over 36 and you went right to 38 and tried to do the questions on 38. But if you did that, then you're missing the purpose of it. Okay? I don't want you guys to create a lazy study habit where you look at something and go, I don't want to read that. And you just flip over and go, okay, this is what I have to have done. No, that's not the purpose. The purpose is to learn and to grow and to make ourselves more intelligent. Do you know that someone can tell a lot about you by what you write on paper? I went through probably 100 different applications and trying to think of the word that I'm looking for. My brain's hurting this morning. My head hurts. Anyways, applications, people who are wanting to work here. And there was many of those that I read some things that they wrote and I went, that's not very good grammar, and I put it aside. Or that's very basic English they're using, and I kind of put it aside. Because in my mind I thought their intelligence level is not where it needs to be a college graduate and to be wanting to enter into the workforce. I evaluated them. I had never met them. And I put their paper aside because of what they had written on paper. And you guys are going to leave here. You're going to leave Calvary Christian School in a few years. And you're going to go out and you're going to try to get a job. Hands down right now, okay? You're going to go and you're going to try to get a job. And you're going to have to fill out an application. And you're going to have to tell that boss why he or she should hire you. Now, how many of you would like to get at least past the application process? You would like to get an interview, okay? You wouldn't want that boss to look at your application and go, I'm not even going to call them, because I can tell by the writing they're not very intelligent. When people read our writings, we want them to think that we're intelligent. We ought to want that for ourselves. And in order to want that for ourselves, that means, once again, like right now, some of you you're listening. I can tell. You have some personal respect for yourself. I want to be my best that I can be. I want to be the very best. I want to polish myself. I want to be professional. If someone were to look at my application, I would want them to want to have an interview with me. And then if you get that interview, sit up straight and tall. If you get that interview and you go and meet them, okay, this is not even doesn't have anything to do with our creative writing, but if you meet that boss and you walk in, hi, I'm Mrs. Rule. Yeah. You want this job? Yeah. Why do you think I should hire you? I really need a job right now. Do you think they're going to hire you? No, we have to carry ourselves in a professional way. We need to be able to communicate. Hi, my name is Mrs. Rule. I graduated from West Coast Baptist College. I was the valedictorian of my class, 4.0 GPA. I work really hard. I have attention to detail. When I see something that's not right, I want to fix it. And I would be great for your company. I'm a leader. I show enthusiasm. And I would love for you to hire me. Now, I was able to take what I've learned in language, and I was able to communicate that with someone, and that person's going to go, wow, she's a hard worker. She looked me in the eye when she talked to me. She was able to communicate in an intelligent way. I want to hire her. All of the jobs that I've ever applied for, guys, I've gotten hired on the spot, starting from my very first job. When I left my Christian school that I went to just like this, I was taught the same things, right? I filled out my application very carefully. I used all of the things that I had been taught. That's 5 minutes. I've asked you now 3 times. I filled out my application very carefully. I used all the things that I learned in school. I was asked to come in for an interview. I shook the boss's hand. I looked him in the eye. I told him who I was, why I wanted the job, what I would do for his company. And I got hired right there. He said, you can start on Monday. And then a couple weeks later, I had a better opportunity that presented itself. I did the same thing. I got hired on the spot. Every job I've ever applied for, I've gotten hired on the spot. Because I've learned how to communicate. It has nothing to do with my intelligence. But what did I do with what I learned? Okay? Anyone can present themselves in an intelligent and studied way if you take yourself seriously, have some self-pride, and learn. Okay? The way you communicate can show a lot about who you are. Okay? I can tell a lot by who you are. I know in this class, if I was going to hire some people in this class right now, I know who I would hire and who I wouldn't. I'm looking for the ones who sit up straight and tall. I'm looking for the ones who listen intently. I'm looking for the ones who work hard and show me they're going to study and work hard. Why? Because if they work hard in their studies, they're going to work hard for me. I could tell you right now who in this class I would hire. And you want to present yourself in the way that, how many of you say, I wouldn't want to be the one that Mrs. Rule would hire? Okay, I hope all of you would raise your hand. Okay, because that means that you are presenting yourself in a way that's worthy of being hired. Okay? So, and we do that with communication. We don't just communicate with our words, although language is about learning how to communicate with our words. This is a life lesson in language today, okay? You're learning how to communicate not just with your words, but we're learning how to communicate with our body language, right? If I walked in today and I was like, okay, 6th grade, go ahead and pull out your language books. We're learning about subjects and verbs today. Gonna have this homework and that homework. Make sure you have it done. All right, let's go to lunch. Now, did my communication just now communicate to you that I wanted to be in here and that I cared about transferring knowledge to you? No. So it's not just a verbal communication, although it is. It's a body language. It's our facial expressions. It's how we stand, how we sit, right? Just a minute ago, I was all hunched over. When I come in the classroom, I'm going to stand. I'm going to stand with my head up. I'm going to look you in the eye when I'm talking to you. It's learning how to communicate. And so in this section, we're learning about creative writing, but it's not just for those who want to be an author. There may not be anyone in here who wants to be an author when they grow up. Does anyone want to be an author when they grow up? Okay, so no one really has that goal and desire to be an author. I have never desired to be an author. Okay, but this creative writing doesn't just affect those who want to be an author. It helps us to become the best person that we can be. You guys are going to go to university. You're going to have projects, writing projects, sometimes really large writing projects, okay, 15, 20 page long that you're going to have to write and create and turn into your professor. How are you going to do that? Well, we're going to learn that now. We're going to learn how to use our creativity. We're going to learn how to use our observation. We're going to have to use all of that, our imagination. We're going to put it all together, and that's how you can draw out all of these different areas to make your writing more creative, okay, to be able to handle these types of projects, okay? Let's look at this page 36. It says, every person is unique. Think about the example of a snowflake, right? How many of you love looking at snow when it's falling? I do. I pray for snow in our area every single year. I pray, Lord, please let it snow. I just want a snow day, right? I'd like to take a day off school and enjoy the snow. And I pray for that every year because I think that would be a ton of fun. And last year we got snow on Thanksgiving and it was awesome. But there's just something special about a snowflake. First of all, it's incredibly peaceful. When you watch that snow fall, it's quiet. I like to cozy up with a blanket and maybe put a good movie on, have some hot chocolate and watch the snow fall. It's peaceful, it's quiet. But the thing about the snowflake that I love, God created every snowflake completely different. There are no two snowflakes alike. And that's so interesting because if you were to look at those snowflakes under a microscope, you can see the different designs. So unbelievable, but yet not one, not two of them are alike. They're all unique in their own way. And Cameron, that's how God created us. Okay, I am not just like Shane. I am not just like Cameron. I'm not built the same way Olive is. I'm not the same as Liviana. But Cameron's just as special to God as I am. Olive is just as special to God as I am. Liviana is just as special. God created us, and he created us the way he did for a reason. Because God created you with a special task. Tristan, God has a job and an assignment for you. God created Tristan, and he already knows what you're going to do with your life. Landon, God knows what you're going to do with your life. He knows the job, the great assignment that he has for you, Gavin. And I believe that's why God has you here in this Christian school. Is he's developing that and forming that. But God created us unique, okay? For example, I'm not very artistic. I like to decorate my house. I love decorating. But as far as art, like drawing and painting, I am not good at that. If we play Pictionary in my house, I will lose every time because they would tell me to draw a bicycle and it would look like a stick figure or something, right? It would look like a little human being and they'd be like, a dog, a cat, a person. I'm like, no, it's a bicycle, you guys. Why don't you see it? I am not artistic at all. Now, my daughter, Brooklyn, is super artistic, and I'm a little bit jealous of her. She's my daughter. No, I'm not really jealous of her, but she's very, very talented in art, and she gets that from her grandma. My mother is super artistic, okay? But that is not me. God did not give me that gift. I very well know that I could never make a living being an artist, okay? I could paint some big old canvas and I could try to sell it, but I'm not going to get a penny for it, okay? Unless someone was like, oh, that's beautiful abstract art, and buy it and not even know what it is. I don't know. But I'm not artistic. That's not my ability. I'm not really a great singer, okay? I like to sing. I sing in the choir, but I'm not a soloist. It's not the gift that God gave me. And I always wanted to be a singer. I love music, and my husband is super musical. He's a musician, but that was not the gift that God gave me. So I could sit there all day long and be like, oh, I wish I was like my friend who's a soloist and she sings in church all the time and she has a beautiful voice and it's not fair. I just want to be like her. Why did God give her all the special abilities? No, because God gave me abilities because he knew what I would need to do, okay? God made me to be very, very particular. I've been like that since I was a little girl, okay? I see something that's not done right and it bothers me. I just want to fix it, okay? Well, God knew that I would be an elementary principal, and do you think that's kind of the job of being an elementary principal? If I see something that's not right, I need to fix it, right? If I see something that's not going smoothly in the school, that's my job. I need to fix that. I need to make sure it's running smoothly. God knew what I would need to do. He knew that I would have to have those characteristics inside of me for the very special job that God gave me. So God has given a special job for each of you, and you don't know what it is yet, but God does. And that is the reason why he has created you with the desires that you might have. Some of you boys may love sports. You may be very athletic. Maybe it's because, Gavin, you're very athletic. Maybe God wants you to work with youth one day and really impact youth in the area of sports. Being a coach that gets down there and just helps kids, coach them about basketball or soccer or football, but then also when they're going through a hard time, saying, hey, this is how we need to live. Hey, this is what we need to do. Okay? Being a mentor to some kids. I don't know all of your special interest, but whatever they may be, maybe God made you extremely musical. Maybe one day God's going to use you to be a music teacher in a school or a music leader in a church. Maybe God has given you artistic ability. I know that Emmeline's artistic. Maybe God wants you to be an artist and he's going to use those abilities. Okay, so I want you to understand that God has made us all the way he is. And if you get frustrated, maybe you're like, oh, I'm not very good at this subject in school and I'm frustrated about it. Don't be frustrated, because God made you the way you are for a reason. And God has a special job for you. And you may not be a math teacher because you may struggle with math, but that's okay. God made you the way you are for a reason. So does that mean that we can just go, oh, well, I'm not good at math, so I quit and I'm not going to be a math teacher. God has a different job for me. Does that mean we should just quit and not try? No. See, when we're not good at something, then we need to realize that and go, okay, God, now how can I refine and make better those areas? I know that I'm not going to be a soloist in a church, but it's something that I believe God wants me to be able to praise him and bring him honor in church. And so I work at my musical abilities. And I sing in choir, and I try to improve that because I want God to use me in that area, okay? I want to be the best, even though I may not be the best in the church. I want to be the best that I can be, okay? I told you guys I struggled in geometry, but I worked at it because I want to be the best that I can be, and I want to learn as much as I can learn. I want to have as much knowledge as I can have so that when I go out into college and into the world, I am educated. I may not be the greatest, but I have an understanding of it. I've refined those areas of weakness, okay? So understand that we're all unique, and God had a reason for that. Some people create beautiful paintings while other people create delicious dinners or tall skyscrapers. Do you see the difference there? Someone is really good at painting. Someone over here is really good at cooking. I'm not a good cook either, guys. And then some people are building skyscrapers. Does that mean that the mom at home who cooks all those delicious meals for her family is not as important as the person building the skyscraper? What do you think? Yes or no? No, that mom is very important to those kids, okay? So we all have a different reason, a different purpose. It is important and rewarding to find where our creative talents lie and then polish and improve them for God's glory. All of us can polish and improve our creativity by learning how to think and write better and by striving to make the following qualities part of our lives. Let's look at the first one, awareness. A creative person notices things that others overlook or are not even interested in. He also tries to see below the surface or the outside appearance of things. Okay, awareness. Being aware of the situation. Okay, I have one child who I'm not going to say the name because you guys know all my kids, but he is not aware of anything. Okay, he kind of walks with his head down everywhere he goes. He was riding his bike one day with his head down and he smacked dab right into a parked car. I'm like, dude, you gotta put your head up. You gotta be aware of your surroundings, you know? And we were always teasing him. He's my non-aware child, okay? But someone who has the gift of awareness, you're aware of what's going on. You're aware that maybe one of your classmates is having an off day. Maybe they're sad. Maybe something's going on and you're aware of that. You can tell there's something off. And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna encourage them. You're aware that something's going on outside, or you're aware that you're just aware. You can read into things. You can see below the surface, okay? Let's go down to imagination. A creative person is able to look at simple things from different points of view and find enjoyment and appreciation in them, okay? When you look at the clouds, you just look at a cloud, or can you see a picture in the cloud? When you look at the sunset, do you just see a sunset? Do you use your imagination, okay? Some people could draw something that you can't even understand, and other people could look at that and go, oh, that's a house and a car, and to someone else it just looks like scribbling, you know? But using your imagination, okay? Finding a different point of view. Wonder. A creative person wonders about new and better ways to do things or to express himself. To a creative person, a problem becomes an opportunity to show his creativity. Okay? Are you the type of person that just does the same thing over and over and over the same way every time because it's all you know? Or do you wonder, is there a better way? Is there a more creative way? Can I do this differently and get the same effect? Okay? So wonder. Creative person has wonder in their heart and in their mind. Courage. A creative person is not discouraged when other people think that his ideas are silly. He believes in what he's doing, okay? Are we all going to have silly ideas at times? Yeah. I bet when Thomas Edison said he was going to create a bulb that glowed, you know, and wasn't a candle, people probably thought he was crazy, right? But he didn't care. People might think I'm crazy. I have a good idea. I'm confident in it. He had courage, okay? So every creation, every invention, at some point, somebody thought that invention was silly. And those inventions have made people a lot of money. So have courage, okay? Next one, dedication. A creative person is willing to work and rework until he achieves his best. He is always jotting down words and ideas that he can use later. Okay, this is what I'm trying to teach you guys about studying, being dedicated. We've had to do that with this school year, okay? I don't know how many times we had to start the plan over as far as how are we going to open the school. I had to work it. That plan didn't work out. I had to rework it, and I had to rework it, okay? So dedication, not giving up, just trying to find another way, okay? And then finally, enthusiasm. A creative person is high-spirited. He is enthusiastic about the works and successes of others, and he is eager to improve and to help others improve. He enjoys life and is eager to share his enjoyment. Don't you guys like being around people who are enthusiastic? it's kind of a bore when you're around someone who's just kind of down in the dumps all the time. Was that Eeyore on Pooh, right? You guys seen Pooh Bear? Yes, no. And he's just kind of always like, how are you doing, Pooh? He's just always kind of like dragging along, right? And those kind of people, don't they kind of exhaust you? Or like, can you just smile about something? Can you be happy about something? Be enthusiastic, right? So creative people share that enthusiasm. They get people excited about it. If you have a project, a negative person's like, oh, it's another project. Enthusiastic person's like, yes, let's do this together. Let's work on it. This will be fun. Okay? Have enthusiasm. Let's look at the poem on the next page, 37, Leisure. Let's read this together out loud. We'll start with the title and then we'll read it. Ready? Begin. Leisure. What is life if full of care? We have no time to stand and stare. No time to stand beneath the boughs and stare as long as sheep or cows. No time to see when woods we pass, where squirrels hide their nuts in grass. No time to see in broad daylight, streams full of stars like skies at night. No time to turn at beauty's glance and watch her feet how they can dance. No time to wait till her mouth can and wrench that smile her eyes began. A poor life this if, full of care, we have no time to stand and stare. Shows a lot, boys, our maturity. Okay? And observe. Be creative. It's kind of a boring life if all we're doing is ever just go, 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 and we never take time to... Last night, I don't know, did you guys see the moon when it first came up last night? Big, huge October moon. It was this big, huge orange moon. And I was just like, thank you, God. October 1st, look at this big, beautiful moon that God gave us. But if we don't take time to look at things and appreciate them, then we're missing a lot. So let's look at page 38, creating and observing. A creative writer must be a good observer. He observes people. He notices their appearance, their gestures, their expressions, their behavior. I am an observer. I observe all of you, and I have a general idea about all of you just by observing how you sit in class. He observes the world around him. He notices the first spring robin. He can tell which family member is coming down the hall by the sound of the footsteps. He notices how red the apple is that his mom put in his lunchbox. The creative observer. It says here, are you a good observer? Prove it. Here's a trivia test. For the writer, it is the most important test of all, for it measures his awareness. How aware are you? This is what we're focusing on first, awareness. Number 1, see how well you guys do. I know some of you were already struggling with it, which means your awareness is lacking. What color are your mother's eyes? What color are your mother's eyes? How many of you know what color your mom's eyes are? How many of you say, Mrs. Rill, I have no idea? Okay, so we're lacking awareness. Maybe we're so focused on ourselves that we're not looking at others. Okay? My mother's eyes are green, a light green. Do you look out the window after you got up? Did you look out the window after you got up this morning? How many of you, yes, you looked out the window when you got up this morning? How many of you say, no, I did not look out the window? Okay. I would probably say I did not look out the window this morning. Sometimes I do, but I did not this morning. Number 3. Some of you were really trying hard on this. Is your teacher left-handed or right-handed? Go ahead and write what you think it is. And this is, once again, not what someone's telling you, what your awareness is. Now, I've used my dominant hand in this class every single day. I've written on the board. I've passed out papers. I have used my dominant hand. So how aware are you of your surroundings? Am I right-handed or am I left-handed? Number 4, this is an easy one. What color are the lunchroom walls? Yeah, because we eat lunch in here. That one's an easy one. Number 5, draw a simple outline of the United States. Let's see how many of you can do that from memory. Draw a simple outline of the United States. Number 6 says identify these flowers. Can we identify any of them?
Yeah.
Who can identify A? What is A? Shout it out if you think you know it. A what?
With this bottle.
You guys looked at the answers in the back, which proves because you don't know how to pronounce it. Daffodil.
I said it right there.
Daffodil. Good job, Tristan. It is a daffodil. How about letter B? Tulip. Don't look back. They want you to see if you can say what it is without looking. Does anyone know what C is?
Rose.
Rose. Does anyone know what D is?
Iris.
Iris. Does anyone know what E is?
Pansy. Rose. Pansy.
Pansy.
Adam has to be with
Yeah, he looked in the back. He already has them written. Letter F, what is it?
Water lily.
Water lily. Letter G?
Daisy.
And letter H? Carnation. Okay, number 7. Let's see who knows this. When will the next presidential election be? Go ahead and write it if you know it.
48.
Number 8. Do you put on your right shoe first or your left shoe? Do you put on your... I don't think you put them on at the same time. That would be very awkward.
You jump into them.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening. If you guys do that, I'd really like to see your getting ready schedule routine because that would be interesting to watch. Number 9, how do most people use their eyebrows to show emotions?
Wait, you're doing it right now.
What? What are you talking about? Okay, let's go back to number 3. Is your teacher left-handed or right-handed? What do you guys put?
Right. Left. Right.
I am right-handed. My boys are left-handed, but I am right-handed. Hopefully your United States little outline looks somewhat remotely close. When will the next presidential election be? Shout it out if you know it. November 4th.
Oh, I put November.
That is all over the news right now. So if you guys don't know that one, either you don't watch the news or you're just not very aware. How many of you put your right shoe on first? How many of you put your left shoe on first? How many of you have no idea? Okay, so test it. All right. That's a little test of your awareness. When we come back next week, we're going to do a fun little game. The test are observations. Right now, I'm going to pass out your language test. And Johnny, I'm going to let you go because I'm just going to pass out their language test before we go to lunch.